Lyra Arden stood at the edge of the landing bay, her eyes wide as the great silver doors of the Galactic Ascendancy Academy opened before her. She had seen pictures of it, vast halls, floating lights, and alien students from every corner of the galaxy, but nothing prepared her for the real thing. The Academy was not just a place of study. It was a symbol of power. Every species sent their most gifted young minds here to train, compete, and rise to leadership. But humans were never part of that list. Humans were considered too young as a species, too weak, too ordinary. Yet here she was. Lyra took a slow breath. Her heart hammered in her chest, but she kept her posture steady. She carried only a small backpack. Everything else she needed the Academy would provide. As she stepped forward, a soft hum filled the air. A scanning drone hovered around her. Light beams swept over her body, making small adjustments as if confused. After several seconds, the drone emitted a sharp beep. She flinched. The drone flew away without explanation. That was odd, she thought. She walked into the main hall. Hundreds of alien students turned to look at her. Some frowned. Some whispered. A few backed away as if she carried something dangerous. Lyra swallowed hard and tried to ignore the stares. A tall, crystalline being floated forward. His translucent body glowed with a calm blue light. He wore the Academy's crest on his chest. "Lyra Arden," he said in a gentle, echoing voice. "I am Director Voss. Welcome to the Ascendancy Academy." Lyra nodded politely. "Thank you, sir." But she noticed something in his eyes, something sharp, almost fearful. Voss turned to the gathered students. "This human cadet joins us by special invitation from the Council. Treat her with respect. Her presence here is important." The way he said it made Lyra's skin prickle. Director Voss guided her deeper into the Academy. The hallways shimmered with floating data screens, glowing signs, and energy lines that ran under the floor. Students practiced abilities in open spaces telekinesis, energy shaping, elemental control. Some trained with technology so advanced she couldn't even guess what it did. Lyra felt small, ordinary. "Director Voss," she said quietly, "I think there must be a mistake. I don't have powers. Humans don't have powers." Voss looked at her, his glow dimming for a moment. "Our scans say otherwise." Lyra frowned. "Your scan kept glitching. It is because you exceeded its range." She froze in place. "What?" Voss did not stop walking. "Power readings like yours are not normal. Not for humans. Not for anyone." Lyra hurried after him. "But I don't feel anything. I can't do anything." Voss finally stopped and faced her fully. "Perhaps not yet. Or perhaps you do not know how to recognize it." She shook her head. "I'm just me." The director studied her face for a long moment, his crystal features unreadable. "Sometimes the greatest dangers are found in those who believe they are harmless." Lyra's stomach twisted. They reached her room, a circular chamber with a floating bed. Glass walls that changed colors based on mood and screens ready to project lessons. Lyra stepped inside slowly. "This will be your space," Voss said. "Rest. Training begins tomorrow." Before she could ask more questions, he floated away, leaving her alone with a strange mix of excitement and fear. The next morning, her first training session began. She walked into the orbital practice arena, huge dome filled with energy fields and shifting platforms. Students formed small groups laughing, showing off their abilities. As soon as Lyra entered, the room went quiet. An alien girl with bright red skin and silver eyes smirked. "So the human really came. I thought your kind were too fragile." Lyra opened her mouth to speak, but the instructor arrived before she could respond. Instructor Hale, a four-armed warrior from the Serix Dominion, slammed his staff on the ground. "Silence. Today we test your basic energy control. Even beginners should manage simple projection." He pointed at Lyra. "Human, you first." Lyra stiffened. "Sir, I don't know how to do anything." "Then learn," Hale growled. Students snickered. Lyra stood in front of a hovering orb that measured energy output. The surface glowed faint orange as she approached. "Place your hand on it," Hale ordered. Lyra did. The orb warmed under her palm. "Now focus. Push your energy into it. All living beings have some, even humans." She tried. She breathed deeply. Nothing happened. A few students laughed. Hale frowned. "Try harder." Lyra clenched her jaw. She closed her eyes and focused with all her strength. Still nothing. But then a memory flashed in her mind. A strange light she had seen when she was a child. A dream she'd had of floating above the ground. A deep warmth she always carried, but never understood. When she opened her eyes, something inside her shifted. The orb didn't glow. It exploded. A blast of white energy shot outward, tearing across the arena. Students screamed. Platforms shattered. Energy shields around the dome activated as alarms blared. Hale was thrown backward. Lyra stumbled, shaking, smoke curling from her fingertips. I didn't mean, but the arena was chaos." Hale struggled to his feet, staring at her with shock. That was not beginner energy. That was beyond advanced level. "What are you?" Lyra felt small again, terrified. "I don't know." Students backed away from her as she stood there trembling. Then the walls of the arena rippled, and Director Voss appeared, transported by a shimmering portal. He looked at the destruction, then at Lyra. "So it begins," he whispered. He turned to the instructor. "Disable advanced tests." "She is not ready." Lyra felt heat rise in her chest. She wasn't ready. She didn't even know what she had done. Voss motioned for her to follow. She walked behind him, feeling all eyes on her, fearful, curious, and accusing. He led her to a sealed observation room. Inside, cold machines hummed. Energy sensors glowed. Voss gestured for her to sit. "We need to test your limits." "But I don't have limits," Lyra blurted, then froze. I don't know." Voss nodded slowly. "That is what worries me." He activated a scanner. A soft wave passed through her body. Panels lit up instantly, showing readings climbing fast. Too fast. Alarms flashed. "Impossible," Voss murmured. "Your levels are unstable. They keep rising." "I don't feel anything," Lyra insisted. "I feel normal." "Normal does not break our instruments," Voss said quietly. Lyra looked at the glowing panels. "What does it mean?" Voss paused before answering. "It means the Academy may not be able to contain you." Word spread quickly. By evening, every corner of the Academy buzzed with rumors. "Did you hear? The human destroyed the arena. No human should have that kind of power. She's dangerous. She shouldn't be here." Lyra sat alone at a table in the dining hall, pushing her food around. She could feel the stares. Even the automated serving drones hovered a little farther away. A shadow fell over her table. She looked up. A tall alien with silver hair and deep black eyes stood there. His presence radiated calm strength. "I am Kyrian," he said. "Top of the telepath division." Lyra nodded weakly. "Hello?" Sat down without asking. "I came to see for myself." "The girl who made even the instructors afraid. I didn't mean to hurt anyone." Kyrian studied her carefully. "Fear does not always come from danger. Sometimes it comes from the unknown." Lyra sighed. "That doesn't help." He leaned in. "Tell me, human, what exactly are you?" She shook her head. "I don't know." Kyrian watched her for a long moment. "Then you should find out. Before someone else decides for you." He stood and walked away. Lyra stared at the table. She wished she could be normal. She wished she knew why she was different. Outside the dining hall, hidden in the shadows, two instructors whispered quietly. "She's a threat. She's untrained and unstable. Should we inform the council?" Voss's voice cut through the darkness. "No, not yet. The girl must not be frightened. If her powers react to emotion..." He did not finish the sentence. The others nodded. Uneasy. Lyra lay in her bed that night, staring at the ceiling, trying not to think about the explosion, the fear in the eyes of others, or the strange warmth inside her that pulsed like a heartbeat. She didn't know who she was, she didn't know what she was, but she knew one thing. Everything had changed the moment. She walked into the academy, and nothing would ever be the same again. Lyra woke up before sunrise. Her eyes opened to the soft glow of the room's changing walls, but today the colors felt dimmer. Her stomach was tight with worry. The memory of the exploding orb still sat heavy in her chest. She had tried to sleep, but every time she closed her eyes, she saw the flash of white energy and heard the shouts of the other students. She sat up slowly. She had to face everyone again today. She had to control whatever was inside her. She washed her face in the small sink and stared into the mirror. Her reflection looked the same as always. Brown hair, tired eyes, a normal human girl. Nothing about her face looked powerful or godlike or dangerous. Yet the academy, the students, even Director Voss, seemed unsure what to do with her. She stepped out of her room and walked to the training sector. The hallways were quieter than yesterday. Conversations stopped when she passed. A few students avoided looking at her. Others looked at her like they expected something to explode again. Lyra kept her head down. When she reached the training arena, Instructor Hale was waiting, arms crossed, his four hands tapping against his armor. He didn't look angry. He looked wary. "You will undergo controlled testing today," said in a tone that felt more like a warning than instruction. Lyra nodded. "I'll try my best, sir." "Trying is no longer enough," Holly said. "Your power is unstable. We must identify its source." Lyra followed him deeper into the arena. Several new devices had been added: thick energy shields, force barriers, and containment fields. Every piece of equipment hummed with high power. It looked like a room prepared for a dangerous creature, not a student. "Will I be safe in there?" Lyra asked quietly. Hale stopped walking and looked at her. "If your power reacts without warning, these shields may not be enough." She swallowed. "Oh." He motioned toward the containment booth. "Step inside." Lyra entered the transparent booth. The door sealed behind her with a heavy hiss. She felt like she couldn't breathe. "Focus on your breathing, Hale," instructed through the CUM speaker. "We will start with a small reading. Do not push yourself. Just relax, relax." Easy for him to say. A gentle wave of scanning energy swept through the booth. Lyra didn't feel anything at first. She exhaled slowly. Then the machine beeped. The reading on the screen outside began to rise and rise and rise. Hale's expression tightened. "Lyra, stop focusing. Release your energy. Drop the level." "I'm not doing anything," she said quickly. The scanner beeped louder now. The walls of the booth flickered with strain. Lyra pressed her hands to her chest. Her heart raced. She tried to calm down, but her fear made the reading spike higher. "Lyra, listen to me," Hale said firmly. "Control comes from emotion. Steady your thoughts." "I'm trying," she said, voice trembling. Something inside her snapped. A burst of white light flared out of her chest, filling the booth. The force made the walls vibrate violently. The energy shields around the booth activated, glowing bright blue. Hale shouted, "Emergency lockdown." Lyra fell to her knees, shaking hard. The light faded from her hands, leaving her breathless. The booth smoked softly, the shields flickered. Hale rushed to the console and powered down the scanner. His eyes were wide. "That was not triggered by training," he said. "That was your power responding to fear." Lyra wiped her eyes. "I don't want this. I just want to be normal." Hale stared at her for a moment before letting out a slow sigh. "Normal is no longer an option for you." The door unlocked with a harsh click. Hale offered his hand. Lyra hesitated before taking it. His hand was large and rough, but surprisingly gentle. "You survived a surge that would destroy most advanced students," he said. "This is not a curse. It is a responsibility. A responsibility." She wasn't sure she wanted it. As she stepped out of the booth, she noticed she wasn't alone in the arena. High above, on the viewing bridge, Director Voss stood with several other instructors. They had watched everything. Voss's expression was unreadable. The others looked concerned. Or scared. Hall approached them. Lyra stayed behind, but she could still hear their conversation. She cannot continue regular classes, one instructor said. Her power is too unstable. She needs a private training plan, another said. Isolated sessions, and if she loses control? A third asked, what if she harms someone? She did not harm anyone today, Voss replied calmly. But she could, the instructor insisted. Voss looked down at Lyra. His voice softened slightly. Fear will only make her worse. She needs guidance, not isolation. But she is too strong, someone whispered. Too unknown. Lyra's chest tightened. Unknown, unwanted, unstable. She clenched her fists and turned away. Their voices faded behind her as she walked toward the exit. Outside the arena, she found Kyrian waiting. His silver hair shimmered in the artificial lights. You look like you have seen a ghost, said. More like I am the ghost, she muttered. Kyrian's lips twitched in a small smile. You are dramatic for a human, Lyra sighed. Everyone thinks I'm dangerous, are you? No, she said quickly. Kyrian stepped closer. Good, because if you were, this place would not survive you, Lyra blinked. That doesn't help. Kyrian chuckled softly. Sorry, I meant it as encouragement, really. She asked. Yes. If you were truly harmful, you would have destroyed the arena completely. You did not. That means there is control inside you. He tapped his temple. You just need the right focus. Lyra looked down at her hands. They looked like normal hands, but knowing what they had done made her uneasy. Do you want help? Kyrian asked. Lyra looked at him. Can you help me? I can help you understand your mind, he said. Your thoughts? Your emotions. She hesitated before nodding. Okay. They left the arena and walked to a quiet garden filled with soft, floating lights. Alien plants glowed gently, and the air felt warm. Sit, Kyrian said. Lyra sat on the ground, crossing her legs. Kyrian sat across from her. Close your eyes, she did. Focus on your breathing, he said. Slow. Calm. Listen to the sound of your breath. Lyra tried. The air felt thick. Her heartbeat was loud in her ears. Good, he said. Now feel your energy inside you. Not the part that explodes. The part that lives quietly. Lyra inhaled slowly. She reached inward. At first, she felt nothing but anxiety. Then she felt a small warmth, soft, gentle, not dangerous. She leaned toward it, but as she did, the warmth flickered. A sharp pulse shot through her body. She gasped. Her eyes flew open. A spark of white light escaped her fingers. Kyrian caught her hand before the spark grew. Calm. Do not fear it. Can't control it, Lyra whispered, shaking. You can, Kyrian said. But not quickly. It will take time. Lyra looked down at her hands again. Everyone thinks I'm a threat. Not everyone, Kyrian said firmly. I do not. Lyra swallowed hard. Thank you. They sat in silence for a while. The soft lights around the garden drifted like glowing insects. Suddenly, a deep alarm vibrated through the ground. Lyra jumped. What is that? Kyrian stood quickly. That is a sector alarm. Something has happened. Students ran past them, heading toward the central courtyard. Lyra and Kyrian followed. When they reached the courtyard, a crowd had gathered around a group of instructors. 2 students lay injured on the ground, surrounded by medbots. Lyra's heart raced. What happened to them? A student whispered, there was an attack. By who? Lyra asked. The student hesitated, then pointed at her. Lyra's breath froze. I didn't do anything. I was with Kyrian the whole time. The injured students groaned. Their bodies shook as if they had been hit with raw energy somehow. The damage looked just like what Lyra's power did. Instructor Hale stepped forward. His tone was serious. We need to talk. Now. Lyra looked at Kyrian. I swear I didn't do this. Kyrian's eyes were steady. I know. Hale motioned her forward. Come, Director Voss wants to examine the scene. Lyra followed, her hands trembling as they walked. Whispers echoed behind her. She's attacking people. We told them she was dangerous. She can't stay. Here Lyra clenched her fists. Someone out there wanted to blame her. Someone out there wanted her gone, and she was going to find out who. Even if her powers scared everyone, even if they scared her, she would uncover the truth. Because if she didn't, things were only going to get worse. The investigation began almost immediately. Director Voss, Instructor Hale, and several security officers gathered around the injured students while Lyra stood a few steps away, trying not to shake. The courtyard buzzed with voices, whispers, and fear. Even the wind felt tense. Lyra looked at the two injured students. Their bodies trembled with residual energy, a white glow fading slowly from their skin. It looked so much like her power that her stomach twisted, but she hadn't done it. She knew that, and Kyrian knew that, but no one else seemed ready to believe her. Instructor Hale knelt near the scorch marks on the ground. He touched the burn with his armored hand and frowned. The pattern is the same as the surge we saw in training. Lyra stepped forward. I wasn't here. Kyrian was with me. I didn't do this, instructor behind Hale muttered. Convenient. Kyrian marched forward, eyes sharp. She was with me the entire time. I can show you the time imprint from my memory signature. A few instructors exchanged glances. Memory signatures were hard to fake. Director Voss raised a hand, calming the noise. Enough. We will not accuse anyone without evidence. Lyra exhaled in relief, but Voss continued. However, the similarity cannot be ignored. Lyra's heart sank again. She watched as Voss stepped into the center of the courtyard. He lifted one glowing hand, and the air shimmered. A replay of the attack appeared, a hologram made from environmental energy residue. Everyone watched in silence. The replay showed the two students practicing. Then a sudden flash of white energy erupted behind them. Throwing them to the ground, the flash was fast, like lightning, and it looked exactly like the burst she caused yesterday. Lyra felt ice spread through her chest. That's not me. I swear to all of you, I didn't do that. The students stared at her with fear. No one stepped closer. One of the injured students, barely conscious, whispered it felt like her. Lyra stepped back as if struck. I don't know how that's possible. Voss turned to her with calm but serious eyes. You say you were in the garden? Yes, with Kyrian. Yes, she repeated. Kyrian nodded. I confirm it. A faint hum filled the courtyard as Voss touched the air again. He brought up a holographic map of the academy. A glowing line traced Lyra and Kyrian's movement earlier. The garden. The courtyard was on the opposite side. The instructors murmured among themselves. Then someone is copying her power, Kyrian said. Or someone is trying to make it look like she did this. The murmurs grew louder. Director Voss looked troubled. A mimic? Impossible. No species here can replicate raw energy forms without contact. Unless, Hale said slowly, it is not a mimic, but a reflection.
Ow.
Lyra frowned. What does that mean? Hale looked uncomfortable. Some rare powers create echoes, energy shadows. If your power connected with someone during the explosion yesterday, it might have left traces. Lyra shook her head. But I didn't touch anyone. Voss nodded. True, and energy shadows do not usually act independently. Kyrian crossed his arms. Then this was intentional. Student near the back shouted, She's lying. Humans are unpredictable. She probably can teleport or something. Several others murmured in agreement. Lyra felt emotion rising like a storm inside her: fear, frustration, confusion. She took a step back. Then another VOS raised a hand. Enough. Until we find proof, she remains a student here with full rights. No one is to attack or threaten her. The crowd quieted, but the fear didn't fade. Security cleared the courtyard and took the injured students to the med bay. Voss dismissed the instructors, leaving only Hale, Kyrian, and Lyra. Voss turned to Lyra. Walk with me. She followed him into a quieter hallway. The lights dim, and the floor humming under their feet. "I believe you did not do this," Voss said. Lyra blinked, surprised. "You do?" "Yes. Your story has been consistent." And Kyrian would not lie about his memory signature. Kyrian bowed slightly. "But someone is trying to use your power," Voss continued. "Or something connected to you." Lyra rubbed her arms. "Connected? How?" Voss hesitated. "Yesterday, after your surge, the energy in the arena did not disappear. It moved." "Moved?" She echoed yes. "It traveled through the Academy's systems like a living thing." Lyra felt a chill. "You mean, it escaped?" Voss nodded slowly. "We tracked it, but it vanished near the lower levels. For now, we must assume it is active." Kyrian stepped forward. "If it shares her energy signature, that means it could act like her power, or appear like her," Hale added. Lyra clenched her fists. "So someone or something used that energy to hurt those students and make everyone blame me." "Exactly," Voss said. "Which is why we must find it quickly." Kyrian looked at Lyra with calm determination. "We will find it, together." Lyra nodded, grateful for at least one person who didn't treat her like a threat. Voss turned toward her. "For now, you are restricted to specific areas for your own safety. Students are frightened. Some may try to confront you." Lyra frowned. "So I'm basically trapped indoors." "Protected," Voss corrected gently. She sighed. It still felt like a cage. Hale looked at Lyra seriously. "Do not leave the designated zones. If the energy echo seeks you, or someone wants to use you, you will be safer near us." "I understand," Lyra said quietly. But inside, she hated every part of it. They escorted her back to her living sector. The hallway was empty. Quiet, too quiet. Lyra stepped inside her room, and the door locked behind her automatically. She sat on her bed, folding her legs up to her chest. "I didn't do anything," she whispered to herself. But the Academy didn't trust her, and she didn't trust herself either. She stared at her hands. The same hands that had caused destruction. The same hands someone was trying to use against her. What if she did lose control? What if someone else got hurt? The room felt small, but she forced herself to breathe slowly. She had to stay calm. She had to think. Hours passed. She didn't know how long she sat there, thinking about the energy echo, the injured students, the fear in everyone's eyes. A soft knock echoed from the door. Lyra sat up quickly. "Who is it?" Kyrian's voice answered softly. "It's me." The door unlocked automatically for him, and he stepped inside. "Director Voss sent me to check on you," he said. Lyra forced a small smile. "I'm okay. Just confused." Kyrian studied her quietly. Then he sat beside her on the edge of the bed. "You are carrying a power you do not understand," he said. "And someone is trying to use that confusion against you." Lyra hugged her knees. "Why me? I'm just human." Kyrian shook his head. "That is the mistake everyone makes. Humans are not weak. They evolve faster than any species. Perhaps your power is a sign of that." She glanced at him. "But if humans could do this, wouldn't people know?" "Not if it was hidden," Kyrian said quietly. "Not if your species lost something long ago." Lyra's eyes widened. "Lost something?" Kyrian hesitated. "There are old stories of a species that once shaped energy itself. Some believe they vanished. Others think they simply changed forms." "Are you saying humans might be nothing as certain?" Kyrian said. "But your power does not come from nothing." The lights in the room flickered suddenly. Lyra jumped. "What was that?" Kyrian stood immediately. "Energy fluctuation. Stay behind me." The lights flickered again, faster this time. The floor hummed. The air grew colder. Lyra's breath caught. White light formed in the center of the room. A glowing figure slowly appeared as shape, made entirely of energy. It looked like her. Lyra stumbled back, eyes wide. "No, no, no, no. What is that?" Kyrian positioned himself between her and the figure. "The energy echo. It found you." The energy figure tilted its head. Its form flickered like unstable lightning. It stepped forward, and the heat in the room rose. Lyra felt her heartbeat race. Her own energy responded inside her chest. Glowing softly, the figure raised its arm. A pulse of white light shot toward them. Kyrian grabbed Lyra's hand. "Run!" The blast hit the wall behind them, exploding in a flash of heat. Lyra and Kyrian sprinted into the hallway. The energy echo followed. Its steps were silent. But every one of them made the lights dim. Lyra gasped for breath. Why is it doing this? What does it want? Kyrian pulled her along. It wants you. Why? Because it came from you. It wants to return. Lyra felt fear grip her heart as the glowing figure closed the distance. Her power pulsed painfully inside her chest. She knew one thing for certain. If she didn't stop this echo soon, someone else was going to get hurt, and this time, no one would believe it wasn't her. Lyra sat alone inside the Academy's observation chamber, her hands resting quietly on her knees. The lights around her flickered with a nervous pulse, almost like they were afraid of her. She could feel the air change every time someone walked past the glass wall outside. People always slowed down. Some pretended to check their devices. Others stared openly, like she was a strange creature they were trying to understand. She wished it did not hurt, but it did. She had saved the Academy more than once by now. Yet instead of feeling safe because of her, everyone seemed more scared. Even the teachers who once believed in logic and science looked at her with confused fear. Her power did not fit into any rule, any measurement, or any textbook. And when something cannot be explained, people are afraid. The room hummed softly as the door finally slid open. Director Varin stepped inside. His tall frame, pale skin, and metallic eyes made him look more like a machine than a leader. But today, even he moved with something like caution. Lyra Arden, he said quietly, we need to talk. She stood up. I know. Another test. Another scan? He shook his head. Something happened near the outer hull. You need to see it. Lyra followed him down the long corridor. The lights above changed from soft blue to warning orange as they walked. Something was wrong. Very wrong. They reached a wide balcony that overlooked the Academy's outer defense fields. Beyond the transparent shield, space stretched endlessly. But something black, truly black, darker than void, moved across the horizon. It was like a crack in reality itself. Is that? Lyra whispered. Yes, Varian answered. The void breach. The same type of anomaly that destroyed the Onyx system centuries ago. It should not be awake. It should not be anywhere near us. Lyra felt a cold shiver run down her spine. She had studied the old records. The void entity did not kill with claws or fire. It simply erased. Whole fleets disappeared. Entire planets became silent. It was not an enemy that attacked. It was an enemy that swallowed. Why is it coming here? She asked. Varen's metallic eyes shifted to her. Because of you. Her breath caught. Me. Your power resonates with it. The detectors show a direct response to your energy signals. And ever since your last surge, the entity began moving toward us. Her heart pounded. Then I caused this? We do not know, Varen said. But we must prepare. We need your help. For the first time since she arrived at the Academy, she heard something in his voice. Fear not of her, but of the thing approaching their home. A loud alarm echoed through the hallways. Red lights replaced the orange ones now. Warning. Outer shields collapsing. All students to emergency shelters. All instructors to battle stations. The automated voice repeated the message like a chant of doom. Lyra's chest tightened. The entity. It's already attacking? Varen nodded grimly. Come, there's no more time to explain. They rushed toward the command center. The doors opened to chaos screens flickering, officers shouting, alien students running to assign posts. The moment Lyra stepped inside, every eye turned toward her. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. She could feel their fear wash over her like a cold wave. She hated it. She hated that she brought this feeling with her wherever she went. But she also knew she could not let them die. General Serix. The war-born alien, who once challenged her in training, approached her with a stiff posture. His sharp armor still bore scars from countless battles, yet even he seemed shaken. "Human," he said, more respectfully than ever before. "We have an enemy none of us can touch. The entity nullifies our powers. But yours remains." Lyra forced herself to meet his eyes. "I'll do everything I can." He bowed his head. "Then we have a chance." The floor vibrated as a shockwave hit the Academy's outer defenses. One of the screens showed a terrible sight, the void entity pushing through the shield like a hand sinking into water. The barrier sparked, resisted, then broke. Screams echoed across the channel lines. Entire fighter squadrons were swallowed in seconds. Lyra clenched her fists. "I have to go out there." Burin moved toward her. "If you leave the shield, you may not survive. If I stay, nobody survives," she said simply. A long silence followed. No one could argue with that. They escorted her to the launch platform. The room was cold and the metallic walkway seemed to stretch to infinity. She kept her eyes forward. She could not afford fear. Not now. She stepped onto the outer deck, where a transparent barrier separated her from space. Her reflection stared back at her, a simple human girl, a small and ordinary, except for the faint glow beneath her skin. The void entity moved closer. Its shape shifted constantly, like smoke trapped inside glass. No eyes, no mouth, just a presence that made her bones feel heavy. "Lyra Arden," a voice whispered. She froze. The voice came from nowhere. "From everywhere, you again," she whispered back. It was the same voice she had heard in secret moments, the one that spoke to her in dreams and strange visions. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. "To return," the voice said. "To complete what was broken." She didn't understand, but she felt something deep within her chest stir. Like the voice awakened a sleeping memory. The barrier opened. Cold wind rushed around her as she stepped out onto the external platform. There was no gravity except for the artificial stabilizer under her feet. The void entity loomed above her, casting a shadow that swallowed the stars. She lifted her hands. Her palms glowed softly. The energy inside her hummed like a living creature. "If you want me," she said quietly, "I'm right here. But leave them alone." The void shivered, as if reacting. Then it struck. A beam of black energy shot toward her. It should have erased her instantly. Instead, the energy inside her surged upward like a shield. The blast hit her barrier and split apart, scattering into harmless fragments. Alarmed voices filled the comms. "She's holding it. She's actually holding it." But Lyra barely heard them. Her focus tightened. She felt the entity's touch pushing against her mind, trying to pull her apart, trying to erase her from existence. She pushed back. A burst of white gold light exploded from her body. The void retreated a little, as if surprised. "You are incomplete," the voice whispered again. "I don't need to be complete," she said through clenched teeth. "I just need to protect them." The void roared not a sound, but a force that shook the entire academy. Lyra dropped to one knee, breath sharp. Her energy flickered. The entity struck again, harder this time. Her shield cracked. Pain exploded through her body. The academy's officers shouted in fear. Varen yelled her name. Students cried out, but Lyra did not collapse. She forced herself to stand. "I am human," she whispered. "And humans don't break that easily." Her energy flared again, brighter than before. It shot upward like a pillar of light, slamming into the void entity. The creature twisted, recoiling. For the first time, it was forced back. The entire academy went silent as the void drifted away, leaving ripples in space. But Lyra felt something inside her shift. Her energy dimmed suddenly, shrinking like a flame fighting for air. She collapsed to one knee again, chest tight. "Lyra." She heard through the comms, her vision blurred. The void had withdrawn. She could feel it watching, waiting. And something was wrong with her. Her power, once stable, now felt unstable, like it was trying to escape. Two officers rushed out to pull her back inside. She barely felt their hands. As they carried her into the academy, the lights flickered again, reacting to her weak energy. She heard Varen's voice near her ear. "Hold on, Lyra. We need you." Her eyes closed. The last thing she felt was a pulse inside her chest, like a heartbeat. That did not belong to her. The void had touched her, and part of it remained. Lyra woke slowly, as if rising from a deep, heavy darkness that did not want to let her go. When she opened her eyes, the room around her came into focus, little by little. Soft lights glowed above her. A gentle hum vibrated through the walls. She was lying on a medical bed inside the Academy's healing chamber. Her body ached not in one place, but everywhere, like she had been stretched and pulled in ways a human was never meant to endure. She tried to sit up, but a wave of dizziness pushed her back down. A voice spoke softly beside her. "You should rest. Your energy levels are unstable." She turned her head slowly. Standing beside her was Kyrian, the telepath student who once feared her power more than anyone else. His eyes, usually sharp and distant, now softened with worry. "What happened?" Lyra whispered. "You pushed the void entity back," Kyrian said. "You saved the Academy, but the cost was high. The entity touched your core energy and changed something inside you." Lyra felt a cold chill inside her chest. She remembered the moment, its presence, its pressure, its voice. "The void. It's not gone, is it?" she asked. Kyrian shook his head slowly. "No, it's waiting outside our range. Watching, studying." He hesitated. "Waiting for you." Lyra closed her eyes. Part of her already knew that. She could feel the faint echo of the void inside her, like a shadow in her heartbeat. The door slid open. Director Varen and General Sarix entered. Their expressions were stern, but underneath she sensed something else: fear, hope, confusion. Lyra Ardenvaren said gently, "You have done what no student, no soldier, no commander in the galaxy has ever done. You forced a void entity to retreat. That alone is a miracle beyond measure." Lyra tried to sit again, and this time Kyrian helped her. She looked at the director. "But I didn't defeat it." "No," Varen said. "But you faced it, and you survived. That is something no one has done in centuries." General Sarix crossed his arms. "The creature retreated. Yes, but it will return. When it does, we need you ready. The Academy needs time to repair. The galaxy needs time to prepare. And you need time to understand what the void left inside you." Lyra touched her chest. Her heart felt different. Not weak, not stronger, just changed. Like a part of her no longer belonged to only her. "I felt something when it touched me," she said quietly. "Like it recognized me, and I recognized it. But I don't know why." Varen exchanged a glance with Sarix. Then he stepped forward. "We believe it is time to tell you everything we know about the ancient Starborn." Lyra frowned. "The Starborn. The extinct species that controlled cosmic energy?" "Not extinct," Varen said softly. "Hidden." He stepped closer to her bed. "And you, Lyra Arden, may be one of their descendants." The room seemed to fall silent. Even the machines stopped humming for a moment, as if listening. Kyrian looked stunned. Sarix watched her with a new kind of respect. Lyra shook her head slowly. "I'm human. I come from Earth. That's all," Earth Varen said. "It was once a sealed world, one of the last safe planets chosen by the Starborn before they disappeared from the galaxy. Your species forgot, but your blood remembered." Lyra stared at him. She felt her heart pounding faster. "So my power? It isn't some strange accident? It isn't dangerous by nature?" Varen shook his head. "No, it is your inheritance. It is your beginning, not your flaw." Warm tears gathered in her eyes. All this time, she had feared she was broken. Wrong. A threat. But now, hearing these words, something lifted inside her. Before she could speak, the entire room shuddered violently. "Warning, the Academy AI blared. Void anomaly approaching. Impact in 60 seconds. Sarix's eyes widened. "It's back already? Impossible." Kyrian grabbed Lyra's arm. "You're not strong enough yet. You can't face it again." But Lyra's heart had already decided. She pushed herself to her feet, ignoring the pain. "I have to," she said softly. If it's coming for me, I need to finish this. Not for the Academy. For everyone. She stepped away from the bed, wobbling but steady. The moment her feet touched the floor, a brilliant light pulsed faintly beneath her skin. Varen, Syrinx, and Kyrian watched with awe. No power is responding to the void, Varen whispered. It knows the battle is coming. Lyra walked out of the healing chamber. The hallways were shaking. Students ran toward shelters. Teachers activated barriers. Everyone moved with panic. But when they saw Lyra passing through the corridor, they stopped. Their fear was replaced with something else, hope. She reached the outer platform again. The air felt heavier. The void entity loomed large. Closer now, its shape shifting violently, like a storm made of darkness. She stepped forward. Her skin glowed brighter. Lyra, Kyrian's voice came through the combs. Please be careful. She smiled faintly. I will. The barrier opened. She stood on the external deck again, the cold wind biting her face. The void moved toward her, faster this time. Lyra Arden, the voice whispered inside her mind. You cannot escape what you are. She stared at the shifting darkness. I am not afraid of what I am anymore. The void surged. A wave of black energy shot forward, sharper and stronger than before. Lyra raised her hands in this time. Her power responded instantly. The glow burst from her body, wrapping her in swirling white light. The blast struck her barrier, but instead of cracking, it bent outward. Absorbing the attack, the void recoiled. Lyra took a step forward. Her feet left the platform as her energy lifted her into the air. I'm not incomplete, she said calmly. I'm human. And humans grow stronger when they're pushed.
Oh.
The void shrieked. It attacked again, but Lyra pushed through it, her light tearing through the darkness like a blade. For the first time, the void broke apart. Pieces of its form drifted away like torn shadows. Lyra reached the heart of the void, a swirling core of pure darkness. She placed her hand on it. It ends now. A massive burst of white light exploded from her body, spreading across the void, dissolving its form. The entity twisted violently, trying to hold itself together. But it couldn't. The light broke it apart from the inside. The sky lit up with a brilliant flash. Then silence. The void was gone. Lyra floated slowly back to the platform. Her energy dimmed. Her feet touched the ground softly. She nearly collapsed, but Kyrian and Syrinx rushed out and caught her. You did it? Kyrian whispered. You actually did it. She nodded weakly. Is the Academy safe? Yes, Varen said, stepping out beside them. And so is the galaxy. Students and instructors poured onto the balcony. They surrounded her, not with fear, but with awe and admiration. Syrinx placed a hand on her shoulder. You are no longer just a cadet. You are the human who stood against a cosmic nightmare and won. Kyrian smiled gently. You changed everything. Lyra looked at the stars. The sky felt clearer now, peaceful. Maybe this is only the beginning, she said softly. If humans really have starborn blood, then maybe Earth has stories waiting to be discovered. Maybe there are more like me out there. Varen nodded. And when the galaxy learns the truth, humanity will not be seen as weak ever again. Lyra smiled. Tired but proud, her journey was only beginning. But she had already proven one thing. Her power did not make her dangerous. Her heart made her unstoppable, and now the entire galaxy knew it.